welcome back to Atlanta. The premiere was great. I'm very excited for whatever we have here.
He's an investor. He just wants to hang out around you.
We'll see about that.
Harvested by real, authentic Mexican ham.
There
You
it
don't
is.
need to pitch that idea.
Oh, hey, man.
You have people around you now who can invest in it.
Jones is the way
Hey
to go.
guys, this is my wife, boys.
Aw. Yeah, for real, you're bullying him. Ah, that's sick. I love the title screens. Hello. Oh, the fucking asshole. She's like,
No, this ain't the house, man.
doesn't look like
This
it.
ain't no billionaire house.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, you do that.
Why? There's no way this could be the house.
For the do, is it?
The what?
I don't know what you're saying.
I might have missed some dialogue at the beginning, but I'm assuming we're in London, considering the accents.
21 Savage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah, running.
What?
All right, this is a billionaire house.
That's just about the best front I have ever seen.
They got their own Nando's, man. Like, what the fuck?
What is Nando's? Am I just being slow here? What's a Nando's?
We got divorced, actually.
Oh,
Oh no, I'm sorry, man. You wanna meet this this artist guy?
Yeah, sure.
I'm really curious as to what they're doing with Van. Like, intentionally throughout this episode so far, she's like off on the sidelines, doesn't seem to have like a reason to be here, which I'm assuming is tying into, you know, her trying to find herself and not knowing what she wants to do right now.
Thank you.
It's a restaurant? Dude has a whole ass restaurant in his house. That's pretty cool.
Attracts unwanted attention.
Oh, so you're the dude?
Are you the Nando?
No. Trees.
What kind of trees are we talking
Does a frog
here?
bump his ass when it hop?
Al, I feel like you might be talking about different trees right now. It's a nice tree.
Real ass tree right there, man.
Yep.
Right. Actually, there's no smoking out here.
Yeah?
It's not good for the tree, yeah?
Nope. Yep.
Okay. I mean, the white in me is definitely like, oh, that's cool, really old tree, but
Hey, these are your friends, man.
My abundant resource is to bring people together rather than shutting them out.
this is an interesting way to do that. But
Open my
all right.
doors to... You can smoke up there.
All right.
shit.
Let's go.
You ain't start with that, Nando, man. Got me out here looking at it.
Yeah, play a game of poker. Poker's fun.
Yeah, I'm actually in a relationship.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
what was going on there. You know, yeah, congrats, though.
Could you pass me the gin right behind you, please?
I get hit on by black men a lot. So,
Excuse me?
What?
black guys love Asian women. So,
Okay.
You know, it seems like a good. You guys love hip hop. We like anime.
yes. So nice to meet you.
You know, it was a little bit of a rocky start, but wasn't too bad to meet you either.
Yo, man, heard what that woman said. That's fucked up.
Wasn't
It's lightweight. It's
Nah, bruv, don't worry. I got you.
what?
like SOX.
Nah.
Darius.
Just like just like regular old stocks, okay. When you say I
nice
got
party.
you, what do you mean by that? Oh my god.
Your hairline's intense. Bro.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I don't know.
I think you'd be better off just shaving it all
Just
off.
pull it off. What do you think?
Do whatever. Look around, bro. It's all me. Self-taught multi-hyphenate. Got my
Mean it.
fingers in all the pies, bro.
Kind of looks like shit, but that's just my opinion. Is he on roller skates? What's it look like? Are you serious right now?
That's sad.
The Supreme shirt certainly makes it kind of sad.
Come and get a toke.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
It's just weed. Relax.
There's no tobacco in there.
Nah.
No.
Smoking straight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You madman.
Why would you? Doing the whole spliff thing, not my thing. Just give me the weed. It's an intense bite, but let's do it.
My bad. Do that, man. Hey, you got mine like that?
Man, things have changed so much for the main characters.
So,
it
what'd
is
you think?
insane.
I've dropped about 500K.
You've dropped 500K.
Yeah, I'm in deep. Which is why I wanted to run something by you
What-
into a
place for artists passing through town. So instead of like artists can stay and work here free of charge.
Terrible idea.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
You're just throwing money away. What are you doing?
I mean, it's got potential, right?
I mean, you don't want to say outright this is a terrible idea,
Being
but
honest.
It sounds really expensive, and it's not really.
Let me just stop you right there.
God damn it. Of course.
We can make all that back through subscriptions.
Nope.
To what?
Yeah.
No. Absolutely terrible business idea.
But no, but I don't understand. Like, if it makes sense, what is there to think about?
You're one of those people.
I just have to make sure Doja Cat isn't doing the same thing because I heard.
Crafty little lie.
So let me just.
Gotta respect Doja Cat, you know.
A pale-skinned black man, stick thin, completely naked,
Okay.
soaking wet.
Like, and what you do? I got a lot of motherfucking questions, Fernando. I'm sorry, man.
I have a lot of questions here too, actually.
And when I woke up, he was gone. But I was covered in a layer of ectoplasm.
Pretty sure that's.
You mean semen, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what it is.
What, you don't believe in ghosts?
Nope, I do not.
Man, I ain't really.
Well, you must believe in God, yeah.
Don't believe in that either. Sorry, not trying to offend anybody, but
Everything's just looking for balance.
not seeing a whole lot of that in the world today.
Oasis. Oh! Yes, see,
Well, you cleaned me out.
hey, I ain't clean you out like that ghost did.
Oh, someone's a little mad. He's only butthurt because he got fucked by a ghost.
Hey, can you check?
All right, then. So does that mean he doesn't get paid, or... Well, she just left, too, so I guess not.
Bro, what the fuck?
Excuse me.
Hey!
Like, this whole episode, Van has just kind of been cruising in the background. It's so intentional that
Boy, yeah?
I don't think it was, them just forgetting about her or something.
Man, we heard what that woman said to you.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't even care about it. It's
What do you mean?
relax.
Honestly, it's the most fucked up thing. It's like some real.
It was not the most fucked up thing. Was it a little out of pocket? Yeah, for sure, but
I don't know.
he doesn't care. Like, relax.
What are you talking about?
People gotta learn to mind their own fucking business.
He ain't make no arrangements. I ain't got this man number, man. I may never see this nigga again.
Yeah, you might not.
Man, I'm going through the same thing. You know that kid TJ, the artist,
Yeah, he's a
His art
fucking idiot.
sucks.
Yeah, thank you.
and he's taking advantage of Will.
Seems like it.
And in the long run, and other black kids who are actually talented. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but he black.
Make a point.
Yeah, man, so what? White kids be scamming all the fucking time.
Also make a
What do
point
you
with
think
that.
TikTok is?
That doesn't mean you
Black
should
kids,
like
they just
support
scam
the
all.
scammers though. Like just support what should actually be supported, you know.
This fool wants to pay for the culture, then let him. What's wrong with me just showing them who I am?
Do you
you
actually
know-
make a little bit of a point?
So you know Fernando then.
Not coming back down.
Yeah. What was that laugh? Like, I don't think you should, involve yourself or support people who are scamming other people. But he makes a good point. He's like, he wants to give me the money. If he wants to be a fucking idiot, I'm just gonna let him do it. What a nice little moment. Are you serious? Why did you do that?
I was having fun.
I'm a little bit with Ern, though. You're making me a little worried about you. You're not really acting like yourself. I love your hair, though.
Ern, I'm fine.
I don't really believe you.
I'm just taking some time for myself.
If you need anything, place or some money, or like you want me to call you a card,
I'm
anything.
not Alfred.
Yeah.
That's also a huge change in their dynamics.
I know,
Now
it's
he's
your
just
job,
like,
it's your
do you need
job."
money? You need a place? I got you covered.
It's okay.
You might be right about that, but you are kind of worrying me, Van. Like, this just doesn't seem like your normal self. Not completely. Don't do it. Little harmless fun. Oh shit, she can't swim.
And he's just like, oh, I'm here with Paperboy. Yeah. What's the problem?
Oh fuck, that
She's
really got me.
I'm not okay.
No, you'll be alright.
Wait, I mean, it didn't go down like that.
So we have the
I'm fine.
the whole like white circle of white guilt going on here. This is
Where is
interesting.
she? I met this girl, but she's definitely a cunt.
People, if Darius doesn't care, then just chill the fuck out. You should probably go. They're gonna...
Yo, Darius.
No.
Oh,
fuck.
Back in here for being all racist.
I'm sure it's intentional, but it's still a white mob of people, like, attacking a person of color just for being racist, which is...
You know what that is, yeah?
Well, I didn't expect that.
Racism and capitalism, hard to separate, isn't it?
True.
Now they only do Pepsi.
Pepsi.
No racism.
That's right.
No racism with the Pepsi. That actually makes me happy that I like Pepsi better than Coke.
Give me my motherfucking money, Fernando.
Everything would go away if you just pay him. You act like you don't have the money for it. Like, just pay him. Oh. It does make me wonder, how many rich billionaires today are billionaires because of their ancestors
it should be all
having
good,
slaves?
Something
It's gotta be a lot.
But I'd do it for 25. Because we're friends.
We're in business, boys.
All right, then.
I think we should get going. It's getting a little,
weird.
Intense upstairs.
Yeah. Darius didn't even care. Oh, shit.
Beyonce.
No, the wedding is off. Like, her
Oh
mum
my-
rot in North Korea for like drives me fucking mad.
I mean, you just saying she's gonna rat in North Korea is also racist, you dumb fuck. He's just grabbing shit. Did you all forget about Van?
No, man, not our problem, man. Not our problem.
Aw, come on. I actually feel a little bad for her. Maybe, like, bring her in the car. Oh my god. He's not going to be like a recurring character throughout the season, is he? Please don't let that be the case. Pick her up, please. Jesus. Is that the end? Nice. Another really good episode. Oh, okay, here we go. So she just left. Oh no, she's just chilling in Nando's. What is going on with her? Alright, lots to discuss. Where to begin? I mean, each character had like a different either theme or kind of story going on, so we'll just go character by character. And let's start with Van, just because she's the one I am the most confused on. Again, I think it's intentional that she is always on the sidelines of every single shot in this episode. It's been a huge criticism of the show that Van just doesn't have as big of a role as her three other co-stars. It almost feels like a response to that, but it does seem like they're doing something with it character and story-wise, because she said, stop worrying, like, I'm fine, I'm just taking time for myself. But she seems so different now. Or not even so different, there's just a difference that is noticeable. Like, the old Van, sure, she would have had fun and done some wacky shit, but pushing people into the pool just for shits and giggles, it didn't quite seem like something she would normally do. And normally I would say, oh, that's just super out of character, bad writing, but again, it's clear that that is the point. Like, other people are taking notice and are worried about her. They're like, what's going on with you? And then at the end of the episode, when she's separated from everyone, she doesn't even answer Ern's phone call to, like, let him know where she is or what's going on, because, as she said, she's got shit to figure out for herself, but I don't really know what she's doing to figure that out. So definitely something to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. Ern's whole storyline was rather interesting. I really enjoyed his conversation with Al, actually, about how TJ knows he's a scammer and he's scamming this dude Will out of all of his money and has shit art. Like, Ern doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, yeah, this dude's scamming him. He's not a good artist. Don't want anything to do with that. But Al did make a good point. He's like, there are a lot of white people who do the same shit all the time. And if they can make some money off of it, why not TJ? Which is a good point. I still hold true to the fact that I personally don't think you should really associate yourself with stuff like that, just because if it ever gets out, that's a super bad look on everybody involved. And it's also wrong. That's definitely second in importance, though, considering like how out of touch and ridiculous all like Will and the rest of those people at the party were. So I'm a little conflicted, but for the most part, support Earn at the very end being like, yeah, I'll be your manager. Let's do the co-op. Fuck it. Is it a scam? Is it immoral? Sure, but if you want to pay for it because you are that delusional, let's do it. And that does make me wonder if TJ is going to be a recurring character this season. That I wouldn't mind. He's actually... I don't really know how to place him. He doesn't have the same, like, aggression, I guess, as, what was his name from the last season? I gotta look it up. Oh, that's right, Clark County. He had, just such an aggression and this weird, subtle insanity, like, underneath everything. TJ doesn't seem to have that as much. He's just a much more self-aware person. He's like, yeah, I'm scamming this dude, you know? But at the same time, he is pretty eccentric, and just the way he kind of rolled up on Earn when he was trying to explain the co-op deal makes me think he's not unlike Clark County. So I'm curious to see if they do anything with that character for the rest of the season. Darius's story was also one I was not expecting to see, but it is something that I think is... I was going to say it wasn't important, but it is kind of important to talk about. It seems like the whole story is kind of revolving around... I don't even know how to describe it exactly, because as a white person who tries to not be racist and prejudiced, I think it is kind of easy to become what that group was doing, where you just hear anything even remotely racist and your immediate response is to, like, attack. Be like, to shut that out immediately, you know, try to be the best ally you can be kind of thing. But it's so tone deaf, because again, it's over a comment that, yes, it's racist, it's out of pocket, it wasn't necessary to be said, but it wasn't the most wildly offensive thing that someone has ever said. And Darius himself did not really have an issue with it. He just brushed it off, made a joke, continued on with the conversation. So for this mob of white people to just like annihilate her over this one little comment, I think it is kind of speaking on the fact that while being an ally is great and all, sometimes it's super important to understand what your lane is. Not everything needs to be this giant social justice fight. Just focus on yourself, pretty much. Try to not be racist yourself. You don't need to be running around as like the protector of the black race. Like that was a lot. And it was horrible, but kind of hilarious that Will at the end is like, oh yeah, that's my fiance, and I dumped her immediately. Like, it's so horrible, but it's just entertaining that the payoff to him saying, you know, he's seeing this new girl and her saying she's engaged culminated in that. And again, was him not saying she can rot in North Korea not more of a racist, fucked up thing to say than what she said? I don't know. Maybe I misread that whole thing, but that's how I saw it anyways. And then Al, who I actually think probably got the most entertaining story of the four characters. Like, to see him go from just admiration at everything going on, just the immense amount of wealth and flexing that Fernando has done, having an actual Nando's in his house, which I still have never heard of before this episode, but I can at least understand it's like a fast food place. Maybe it's like a European fast food place? I don't know. But it's interesting to see how he goes from saying, like, you know, everything's just hard as fuck, and then as soon as Fernando cheats him out of a lot of money, Al kind of reverts back to his Atlanta days, which he literally even says. He's like, if we were back home, like, there'd be no questions asked. I would already have this dude knocked the fuck out. And in a weird way, him trying to cut the tree down and then just stealing a bunch of Nandos before they leave, it kind of reminds me of the Juneteenth episode where Earn straight up tells the dude who was telling him, like, to go to Africa and shit, just tells him, like, dude, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid. And then they just leave. Because once again, it's the same idea of, like, kind of going along with all of the whiteness that's surrounding this party. And at a certain point, you're like, I just can't take this shit anymore, man. This is so fucking stupid. Obviously, it's a little different. In this case, it was spurred on by the fact that Al got cheated out of his money and he, you know, one, wanted his money back, and two, couldn't let that kind of disrespect slide. But I think it is kind of important to note that by the end of the episode, he still got fucked over. Like, it didn't really matter what either party did after he was cheated out of his money. He never got that money back, and, you know, never will. Which I think could definitely be a bit more of a thematic way to say that Al is, you know, doing fucking great. He was able to buy his way into a $20,000 poker game like it was nothing, and he had a ton left over. But even with all that wealth and this invitation to this party and all this shit, still gets fucked over by the white people. Still is how it goes. Oh, and I just realized, was the ghost in Fernando's story, was that like another person that he cheated out of poker? He was just pissed that he got a bunch of money stolen from him, so he broke into his house and fucked him. But let's jump into the technicals. Writing in the episode. Character motivations seemed super on point for Darius, for Ern, and for Al. Van, it seemed intentionally out of character. Again, normally I would fault that, but they even call it out in the episode, Ern saying, you know, you're acting kind of weird, people are worried about you. So it's obvious to me that that is quite literally the point, that she is acting a little bit out of character and is just lost right now. She doesn't really have direction, which makes me a little nervous for the rest of the season, because if they don't play that out properly, then it will literally just be her kind of doing nothing for a whole season. So they're gonna have to do something with that strangeness surrounding her in order to develop an actual character arc. So I'm curious to see if they do that. This episode actually gives me some promise that they will, because like I said, they very much highlighted how different she's being right now, so seems unlikely that they won't continue along with that. Plot progression, this show's not exactly a plot-driven show per se. It's usually much more character studies, with the occasional bit of plot progression. And in this case, it seemed like that was definitely what we had. Like, the plot progression that we got, I suppose you could say, is Ern becoming TJ's manager, and maybe Socks joining them in the car at the very end if he does happen to show up more than once this season. But all the rest of it wasn't really for plot. It was all about exploring some ideas and these characters, as the show has kind of always been. Pacing was very slow. I would say a little too slow. There were a couple moments during the episode where I was like, I'm petering out here just a little bit. I'm gonna need something to kind of draw my attention. Not often. Like, it was, I think, twice during a couple scenes that ran just a little bit long. I think the pace was also felt just a little bit more, because even though there was plenty of comedy in this episode, I feel like the premiere was a little bit more comedy heavy. I suppose that's all a matter of opinion. Maybe the jokes in this one just didn't land quite as much as the other ones did, or they just didn't stick out to me as much as the other ones did. Don't get me wrong, I laughed a lot. But yeah, I thought the writing was very solid, and if they do follow through with what they're setting up with Van here, then I think the writing was quite good. So I'll do an 8 out of 10. Editing in this episode, there was nothing that really stood out to me as like a highlight of the editing per se. A lot of it was, as usual, very intentional, slow cuts to both make it feel real and surreal at the same time. But because there wasn't like a single moment in the episode that I thought really impressed me with the editing, I'm just gonna go for a 7 out of 10. Cinematography was fantastic as always. Talked about it last time, but the way they frame characters where they're basically a part of like the lower half or the lower third of the screen, it just does such a good job making everything look artistic and separating the character from the environment that they're in. It's a great way to kind of highlight either how much the environment does or does not match the character. But there are moments where the cinematography will become a bit more like normal per se. Like the scene with Van and Ern when they had a bit of a heart-to-heart. Then the camera lowers itself down and they're fully taking up the frame. At that point, I don't think they wanted either character to become a part of or pushed away from the environment or anything. The environment simply wasn't the focus, it was these two characters. So rather than do their typical cinematography, they were like, nope, let's just push in on these two characters, let their acting do all the work. So that was smart. That was very good. I've always thought the cinematography on this show is really, really top notch. So I'm going to do 10 out of 10. The sound design was quite good. Once again, like the editing, I didn't really feel anything that super stood out or anything. It was all just situational. Like it all fit the situation or the scene very well. There was one really good moment though with the sound design where it's this moment that's kind of like pushing in on Al during the poker game. And it's when you can tell Fernando has had kind of a change in mood and he no longer likes Al. Or if that's not the case, he realizes like, oh, I gotta pay this dude, so I gotta dip. But he's explaining something almost kind of sinisterly, and you can hear a certain change in the score. And it does a great job kind of offsetting you. It makes you a little uncomfortable with the whole situation. And it did utilize silence quite well, which I think is super important, especially for a show like this that's, you know, big on character studies and super surreal kind of scenes. What? No wonder I've never been to a fucking Nando's. The closest one is in Illinois. Sorry, I was really curious about the Nando's thing. I had to know more. If I have any viewers that have had Nando's, let me know how it is. Or at least what type of food it is specifically. But yeah, there was that one moment of sound design that I thought was pretty stellar, and then the rest of it was all very serviceable. So I'm gonna go for... I'll do another 7 out of 10. Acting. I think it was really outstanding in this episode. Obviously, there are some characters who are kind of playing like caricatures, namely the like white mob that's just attacking MK so much, and I guess Fernando and Will. But the definite winners of this episode, I think it was the same two that I picked for the second episode. Zazie Beetz and Donald Glover during their one-on-one conversation, like the acting was so good in that moment. Like Zazie Beetz did a fantastic job showing that for the most part, yes, technically she's okay, she's fine, but she always has either a hint of kind of sadness to it or is just overplaying the like bright kind of feelings that she's having so that it's apparent that it's an act. Or even if it's not an act per se, it's like a hidden act that she might not even realize that she's performing. And with him, I felt genuine concern, honestly just genuineness. Like the relationship that the two have, it just feels so natural and real. And it really comes across when the two actors are actually speaking to each other in a scene. So yeah, I think they did a fantastic job. I'm going to do 10 out of 10. Costumes and makeup. Well, right off the bat, I got to say all 4 main characters, they looked so good. Legitimately, every single one of them had a unique style that fit their character and looked really good. I think they did a great job like dressing Will. He looks very much like a producer or a manager. And TJ as like the eccentric scamming artist because he's wearing something that you would consider fairly normal-ish. But then he has like snow goggles on his head and is wearing roller skates. So really completes the look there. But I will say a negative point on this one for me, like the wig or like the bald cap, I guess, that they put on socks. Like, did it look awful? Yes, but not in a realistic way. It was definitely one of those moments where I was like, okay, that's obviously like some rubber wrapped around your head and a little wig put on top. So I think they dropped the ball in that moment, but it was meant to be funny and look horrible, so I don't really fault it as much as I might on another show, but it is going to drop it down a little bit for me, so I'm going to do an 8 out of 10. Set design, that was truly outstanding in this one. I'm curious as to how much of this was on location and sets made, because the inside of the house, I mean, it looks super upscale, super nice, They really sold the wealth of the whole thing. I feel like this has to have been an actual house that they went to. Just for the fact that there's a pool, I'm like, making a pool for a set, like, that is just impossible. Like, maybe they went to the local rec center and just dressed it up to make it look nicer. There's actually a legitimate possibility that they filmed a lot of this actually in someone's house. Either way, they did a fantastic job, especially with the fake front all at the beginning with the super run-down, creepy-looking, like, apartment building, all to lead into this, like, oasis up at the top. It was very cool. And I'm gonna do a 10 out of 10. And finally, the visual effects. I've watched the episode 3 times trying to find any visual effects. And in terms of anything like CGI, I don't think there is any anywhere. Okay, I take that back. The Atlanta logo intro, that I'm sure is some like digital effects being used. Unless they actually just make like a whole little set with that built into it. I don't know, actually. That it's either a point to the visual effects or the set designers, because they do a fantastic job with that Atlanta intro every single episode. But yeah, the rest of it, it all seems to be practical, including Al like using the chainsaw on the tree, which was pretty entertaining. And I think that's perfect for a show like this. Like, you don't need to be using tons of green screens and visual effects for this, and that. Oh wait, there is one other shot here where it's like through the window on the party and you just see the reflection of London on it. I'm gonna go ahead and guess they didn't get a crane to do that shot, and that's probably some visual effects. Unless they did get a crane and just filmed it through the window. I don't know, it's hard to tell. But yeah, this is one of the shows where practical effects are really all you need. There's a couple episodes where they needed to jump a little more heavily into like CGI and stuff. But this is a pretty contained episode without any huge moments aside from him trying to cut the tree down. So even though it's all very, very good, there's just nothing there to like impress or wow me. So I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10. And that gives this episode an even 8.5 out of 10. Which I think is pretty accurate. I enjoyed the episode quite a bit. I think it was very good. And I think overall, this episode didn't disappoint or was bad in any way, really. I just don't think it really impressed me in any major way. Don't get me wrong, it was great. I really enjoyed pretty much every storyline here. And despite the, couple little gripes I had about this or that, I think it was really well made. Just compared to the first 2 episodes, it does feel like a wind down a little bit. Not like a downgrade, just a wind down, just a bit of a breather after the last 2. With the potential to actually set up some other storylines, so it's not like it was just a waste of time or anything. So I will see you all in that next episode, and that's about it.